We have a huge weekend planned for children's athletics happening right now on Sports Team. We'll discuss all that and more. First, we have the men's basketball team at Intuit Dome on Friday. That'll be an interesting matchup. Also, the USC football Trojans are hosting the Iowa Hawkeyes. That will be great to see if they can continue their push towards their postseason hopes. Also, women's basketball, the real SC matchup, that will be on Saturday at crypto.com arena. A huge women's sport elective that I can't wait to look forward to, honestly. And also, USC volleyball is hosting #1 Nebraska at the Center, completely sold out. We'll talk all that and more on Sports Scene.
Welcome back to another day of Sports Scene. I'm Adam Ukazoglu.
And I'm Nolan Ezett. USC women's basketball is gearing up for the battle of the real SC as it prepares for South Carolina on Saturday. For now, though, the Trojans are riding high on high hopes after taking down then number 9 NC State. This 21-point performance from Jazzy Davidson led the Trojans to a 1-point victory over the Wolfpack on the road. She's looking like the real deal in her first 2 games as a Trojan. London Jones also was the other key in USC's victory, putting up 19 points of her own. But this Saturday, a tougher test lies ahead. Number 2 South Carolina comes to town, and it's up to the Trojans to hold their title and protect themselves as the real SC. The Gamecocks are an experienced team who boast a talented roster. 3 star players on their squad average more than 15 points a game. USC is battling the devastating year-long loss of star Juju Watkins. South Carolina, on the other hand, has several key returners. For the Trojans, an injured Juju means players like Jazzy Davidson, Cara Dunn, and Kennedy Smith are expected to step up. If this team wants a chance to compete, it will have to involve all the unique talents on its roster. For the Gamecocks, Joyce Edwards, Tessa Johnson, and Raven Johnson are returning from last year. Other key additions are expected to contribute, including Tania Latson, who led the NCAA in points per game last year with 25.2 at Florida State.
Now let's get to these extraordinary women who are at the helm of these historic programs, Lindsay Gottlieb and Dawn Staley. Coach Gottlieb brings an NBA-style analytical mindset, emphasizing pace and movement. She's also an offense-oriented and spacing-focused coach who runs a true pro-style offense. On the other side of it is Coach Staley, whose commanding intensity off the court builds a culture rooted in accountability and toughness on the court. Her players reflect her competitive fire and confidence. She emphasizes elite defensive playmaking as well.
There's still a standard and a culture around the program where the expectation is you win. It doesn't come easily, and it doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen. But I think each of these things establishes kind of what this program is and is going to be. You know, when I took the job, the ultimate goal, like the moonshot, is to become the premier program in women's college basketball.
So Adam, I'll start with you. What does USC need to do in order to win on Saturday?
Yeah, well, you know, Jazzy Davidson has to keep up her stardom. I mean, she's been unbelievable so far, and I just wanted to mention, I think it's very admirable that the Trojans are scheduling out-of-conference games like the South Carolina Gamecocks. I mean, you see on the men's side, they're scheduling pretty much irrelevant out-of-conference games, and it's not really getting them ready for Big Ten play. I love that the women's team is getting ready and playing these hard opponents like South Carolina.
You got a game prediction for me?
God, I mean, it's going to be a tough one for the Trojans. I'm going to say they fall by around 5 points. I'm going to go 85-80 for the Gamecocks.
Nolan, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, for score prediction, I'd go around the same. I don't think the Trojans will win it. I think they'll keep it close within 5 to 10 points, but I do think South Carolina will pull away in the end. I think for the Trojans, it's going to be the key that I kind of referred to before. You got a lot of talent, but you really need to utilize every single one of those individual talents. Obviously, Jazzy Davidson needs to have her biggest game of the year, but you're also looking at other players like Kennedy Smith, like London Jones. They all need to really have a career night for you to kind of have a chance against the number 2 squad.
I agree. It will be a battle of the real SC versus SC. The Trojans will hope to prove that they are the real USC on Saturday at crypto.com arena.
Well, both SCs are good as of now. It's the history of the 2 squads that really make this matchup worth tuning into. The South Carolina Gamecocks are up there for one of the most prestigious teams ever. They have 15 regular season SEC titles to go along with 12 SEC tournaments and 3 national championships. Some notable players that are in the WNBA today that are alumni include Asia Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, and Camila Cardoso. The Trojans have some history of their own, with 5 regular season conference championships and 2 tournament wins. In addition, they won back-to-back national championships in 1983 and 84, but that's their only in the history of the program. USC also have some legends, including Cheryl Miller, Lisa Leslie, and Tina Thompson. Now, guys, I mean, it's obvious the Trojans, the South Carolina Gamecocks, they're historic programs. Nolan, I'll start with you. Who do you think is the more historic program in general?
I mean, it's obviously South Carolina for this sport. USC has really come back around, made a strong name for itself again. Hasn't been as relevant since maybe you're looking at the 80s and 90s, but I mean, USC really looking almost as strong as South Carolina these last couple of years. But obviously, in terms of history, South Carolina never hasn't been a relevant franchise.
Yeah, I mean, 100% that's true. But the peak of the Trojans back in 83 and 84, when they won back-to-back national championships, really shows the potential. Nia, I'll now throw it to you. I mean, do you think USC, the Trojans, have potential to possibly overtake the Gamecocks one day?
I think they have the ability to do so. However, the Gamecocks have been really strong these past couple of years. They won 2 national championships in the past 5 years. Dawn Staley is not playing around. They haven't won in the past 2 years, so I think she wants to get over the hump, and she might be able to do that on Saturday at Crypto. I think this USC squad has a lot to prove with Lindsey Gottlieb, and they have a new slate of players coming in, transfers as well. They're still trying to find their groove, so hopefully they'll be able to on Saturday.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a new era for both programs. I mean, both teams have so much great history, and I'm sure plenty of the program's legends will be in attendance this Saturday.
And for football, USC remains in playoff contention as the season now winds down. A 38-17 home victory against Northwestern put USC's top talent on showcase as King Miller and Mekhi Lemon combined for 295 total yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. Jacoby Lane also added to his flashy catch highlight reel. Defensively, though, the Trojans kind of got torched on the ground, but they did seem to contain the pass a little bit more. USC has an interesting matchup against Iowa this Saturday. The Hawkeyes give up less than 14 points a game and are known to keep games low scoring. With Iowa ranking inside the top 5 in the Big Ten in both pass and run defense, Lincoln Riley is going to have to get to the drawing board and use his creativity. A must-win matchup ahead of us. We have 3 keys to the game for the Trojans. Adam says USC needs to force Iowa to pass. I think the Trojans have to maintain a fast-paced game, and Nia wants to keep the offense one-dimensional. 3 keys in the battle this weekend. Nia joining myself and Adam. Adam, I'll start with you. What are you looking to see from the Trojans?
Yeah, well, it's all about stopping the run, and it's all about getting off quickly. I mean, my key to the game was making sure you're stacking the box, but it's also about making sure that you get out to a fast offensive start. I mean, when you look at the Trojans, I mean, Iowa has, as you mentioned, their signature is keeping games low scoring, but USC has arguably the top offense in the country. It's one of those matchups where it's kind of strength versus strength, and USC is going to have to win on that side of the ball. When it comes to the other side, I mean, I don't think their defense is going to have too much trouble stopping the Hawkeyes. It's really all going to come down to USC's offense versus Iowa's defense.
Yeah, 2 polar opposite teams, really, and now it's looking like it's going to rain all afternoon, so that really makes it interesting.
Yep.
Nia, what about yourself?
Yeah, the Hawkeyes have a dual threat quarterback in Mike Gronowski. He's able to run the ball very well, and he can throw the deep ball. So if they're able to really just keep it to either rushing or to his throws, then USC can just take down that one component of his game and win that game for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think for USC to win, which I do think they will win, I think the Trojans are the better team, but you're going to have to kind of contain this offense, really make them kind of pass. And that's why my key was force a fast-paced game. I know it's going to be difficult in the rain, but as long as it's relatively light, you force Iowa to pass. I mean, Jaden Mayav is the better quarterback. Yeah. USC's the better air raid offense. You keep a fast-paced game, make Iowa, keep them on their toes, make them pass. You're going to win if you're the Trojans. USC will have to follow suit to take care of business at home, but let's meet that business. Adam?
Thanks, Nolan. If the Trojans want to keep this winning streak going, they've got to limit the Iowa Hawkeyes, who come into the Coliseum ranked 21st in the nation. With plenty of players to focus on, I'm going to highlight starting running back Kamari Moulton. Moulton is the bulk of Iowa's offense, with their primary game plan being through the ground game. He has 75 or more yards in his last 6 games, but he struggles to find the end zone. The 2 times he has so far this season both come from only 6 yards out, so he's not too much of a threat for a breakaway scamper.
I'm going with the quarterback, Mark Gronowski. He's the definition of a dual threat quarterback, like I said earlier. He's rushed for a touchdown in all 9 of Iowa's games this season, including a career-high 130 yards at Penn State. Let's look at him here. He knows how to read defenses and scamper away for a score. Against the Trojans in their varied coverages, Gronowski might once again use his skill set to deliver on the ground and with his arm. Just look at him flying down the field here. He could be a problem for the Trojans.
I'm going to go with an interesting one here. He's a wide receiver, but also return specialist, Caden Wetjen. He's one of the top targets in this offense, but more importantly, look at what he can do here. He leads the Big Ten in return touchdowns with 3 this season, as well as total return yards and average yards per return. In a relatively stagnant offense, one of the sneakiest ways that this team can score is on special teams. Those are certainly some tough opponents to game plan for, but USC has some of its own. Liam, what do you got?
A lot of controversy coming from Saturday's game for USC against Northwestern with the trick play in the early second quarter. But X's and O's isn't here to fake you out. I'm Liam Irvin. Let's break things down. The setup right here is going to look nothing out of the ordinary. It's a 4th and 6 situation, early second quarter. You think there's no chance that USC isn't going to punt this football. And it looks to be, from the Northwestern sideline perspective, that Sam Johnson, number 80, the punter, is lined up. He's been number 80 all season long, and he looks to be lined up in the punter position. But look at it right here. He fakes the punt, takes it with his arm, and he's going to throw it right here. Quickly, you realize this is the lefty quarterback, Sam Heward, third-string quarterback. He was declared number 80 as well 3 weeks ago. Heward is stubbed in instead of Johnson. And with the Trojan tradition of no last names on the jersey, it's virtually impossible for anybody to tell. Heward has that lefty sling. He throws it to Tanuk Hines on an out route towards the sideline, and a first down moving the sticks on the trick play for the Trojans. Let's take another look right here. Tanuk's going to fake like he's running towards the punt returner, plants his feet, and an out route towards the sideline. A 15-yard completion and a completely legal, for that time period, play. In the grand scheme of things, a 38-17 win for the Trojans. The fake punt in the second quarter didn't really matter, but many argued that this was an unethical decision for Lincoln Riley. The Big Ten released a statement claiming USC should have been penalized for violating the Big Ten's unfair tactic clause, but with no penalty flag thrown. Do our anchors think this decision was right? Adam has more.
Thanks, Liam. The play certainly has people talking, and USC's social media team decided to give us a funny take on the situation.
Order number 80 for Sam.
Number 80 for Sam.
Sam, number 7.
There we go. Thank you. All right, man. Have a good day. Nice pass the other day.
Nice punts.
I mean, and you know, technically, by the laws of the game, it was allowed. As Liam mentioned, I'm joined by Nia and Nolan here to discuss this one. Nia, I'm interested. What do you think? Do you think this was legal? And, you know, was it really worth it?
I think it was clever. I think it was great to use against that Northwestern squad. And the Northwestern head coach, David Braun, thought it was smart. I mean, he had no problem with it. If the opponent didn't have a problem with it, why does the Big Ten have an issue? I think that it was smart for Lincoln Riley to use that. And I hope he has some more tricks up his sleeve for this upcoming weekend and when they go to Oregon next weekend. Yeah, 100%.
It was great of head coach David Braun. You know, he said in a press conference he was fine with the play, and he takes accountability himself. I fully agree with you. I'm not sure why the Big Ten takes too much of an issue. Nolan, I know you have a little bit of a different take on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I see no problem with the play. It reminds me of almost youth level like trickery, and I think that's awesome. If you're a D1 coach opposing USC, you got to catch this. This is something that, you know, I'm sure youth teams have been doing forever. If I'm Lincoln Riley, though, I'm not sure why I'm not saving that for Iowa or especially Oregon. Yeah. I mean, that was an awesome play. You saw that saved them, you know, got them basically another possession. I'm not sure why you pull that out against a relatively weak Northwestern team that you were probably already going to beat, let alone in the second quarter. You didn't need to pull that out then. Save it for when it really matters.
I mean, it feels like the only excuse there is he's got something else up his sleeve, and we certainly hope he does. Is, you know, to beat a team like Oregon in Eugene, you're going to need to use tricks just like that. I mean, Lincoln Riley never fails to impress, and we are all waiting for the next trick play that he cooks up. Coming up next, USC men's basketball has started the season 2-0, but are they really legit? And USC women's volleyball preps for possibly their biggest game in their program's history. All that and much more coming up next.
Men's basketball is off to a hot start with two 30-point victories to start the year. Now, here's the last one, a 114-83 victory against Manhattan. Chad Baker-Mazara led USC with 26 points, but it was a solid night all around for the Trojans, with Ezra Usar, Rodney Rice, Jaden Brownell, Jacob Kofi, and Terrence Williams all putting up at least 10 points.
Excited that, I think it's the most points since 1990 that SC's had, so, we pushed the ball, we played pretty well, could shoot the ball better around the rim and could shoot the ball better from the perimeter than we did tonight. But in a game that you score 114 points, you only turn the ball over 12 times, that is a really good sign.
As USC prepares for a rather bland slate of non-conference matchups, Musselman & Co. will travel to the Clippers' new Intuit Dome to take on Illinois State this Friday. Lots of wins we've been talking about here. Let's look at some of the top performers. Johnny has more.
Well, in this week's top plays, we'll be looking at top 3 plays from Trojans football, basketball, and women's volleyball. In the second quarter, King Miller takes the handoff, finds a gap, and bursts right through it. Northwestern's Mac Uline tries to tackle, catches Miller by his legs, but he manages to escape. Miller runs for 58 yards before Fred Davis manages to finally tackle him. In the second half, Manhattan's Anthony Isaac loses the ball, and Amarian Dickerson picks it up, runs almost full court with no one to stop him, jumps, glides through the air, and flushes the dunk clean for USC. 47 seconds into the match, Washington serves. USC's own Gala Trubin receives the ball. It's passed to Reese Meeser, who then sets it into the air and then spiked by Riley McGinnis to score. This match is a huge factor in me watching volleyball again. That's all for top plays this week. Again, I'm Johnny. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Johnny. USC women's volleyball is hitting their stride. The Trojans have won 8 in a row, including 2 huge wins against ranked opponents, against then number 20 Minnesota and number 9 Wisconsin. Their biggest test, however, still awaits this upcoming weekend. In preparation, let's take a look at their success. Their offense relies on the dynamic 1-2 punch of sophomore outside London Weejay and freshman opposite Abigail Mullen, both of whom have notched over 300 kills on the season. In their most recent game against Washington, they led the team with 15 kills apiece. One of USC's upcoming opponents is also no stranger to winning streaks. Number 1 ranked Nebraska comes to the Galen Center on Sunday, having won 45 sets in a row. If the Trojans want to turn 24-0 to 24-1, they'll have to ride their current momentum to their best performance yet. USC enters this game at 17th in the nation with a record of 19 wins and 5 losses. They have just over 1,100 kills, 110 aces, and 1,211 digs. On the other side, Nebraska comes into this one 24-0 on the season and is the number 1 team in the country. They themselves have 1,144 kills, 93 aces, and just over 1,000 digs. With the colossal matchup ahead, USC head coach Brad Keller has a tall task ahead of him. For more on this week in Trojan sports, we'll toss it to Nia.
Thank you, Adam. Like he said, men's basketball versus Illinois State at Intuit Dome is going to be a great game for those Trojans. Saturday, football is hosting the Iowa Hawkeyes. Can they continue their postseason hopes and hopefully win out? We'll find out. Also, men's water polo, the number 1 ranked team in the nation versus number 2 crosstown rivals UCLA. And of course, SC versus SC. South Carolina is hosting University of Southern California at Crypto.com Arena. We'll see who's going to win that out. Also, women's volleyball. They're hosting Nebraska, and Nebraska's won 45 straight sets, just like Adam said. So we'll see if they can get the win this Sunday.
All right, well, it's Wednesday, so you know what that means. Time for the feistiest part of the show, Trojan of the Week. Welcome back to the pit. I'm Terrence Holton, joined by Casey Kasliner. And Casey, Abigail Mullen was the clear Trojan of the Week. Similarly to In-N-Out, the best part of her game was the double-double she dropped against Washington with 15 kills and 17 digs, helping her earn Big Ten Freshman of the Week and USC to their 8th straight win.
You like jazz? Well, you don't need to listen to Miles Davis or Duke Ellington to get a taste of some sweet swing at USC. Meet Jazzy Davidson, 5-star freshman women's basketball guard who composed a 21-point performance to the tune of a big upset over NC State. The number 18 women of Troy had to play in a tough environment in Charlotte against the number 9 ranked Wolfpack. But Jazzy didn't let the lights get too bright. She didn't just have the game-winning layup. She had 5 blocks and 3 steals, harmonizing teammates London Jones and Kennedy Smith with 4 assists as well. Now, Terrence, I'm going to start first today, actually.
So that's not really how this works usually. I prompt this, but sure, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm the captain now. Look.
All right, sure.
London Weejay is the best player on the women's volleyball team. She co-led assists with 50, or rather,
she
kills
had
with 15.
and she had a good week. She wasn't the Big Ten freshman of the week. She didn't do it
know
on
who
both
was the
sides
Big Ten
of the
freshman
ball.
of the week? Jazzy Davidson.
So was Abigail Mullen. That's kind of my point.
But
and
she co-led her team
London
in kills.
Weejay didn't do it. You're not talking about the same side of the ball, though. You're not talking about both sides. Not London Weejay. Abigail Mullins also did it on the defensive side.
Jazzy Davidson had 5 blocks and 3 steals.
Casey, I noticed that you left out a pretty important distinction, though, about that offense.
And had the game-winning layup with 8 seconds left to beat the number 9 team in the country in Charlotte.
I'm going to throw you a bone. She had the Trojan play of the week. That great game-winning play of the week. That's it. I noticed you left out the field goal efficiency for Jazzy Davidson. Tell me what she shot from the field.
She shot like 37%.
34. And what did she shoot from 3?
33%.
0. She made no threes.
That's not true.
She made no threes.
Jazzy Davidson? I showed one in my video.
She was 0 for 3 from 3.
Nope, that's not true at all.
Just looking at the box score.
She was 3 of 9.
Anyways.
She was 3 of 9.
I don't think she was even the best women's basketball player. I'm shocked.
Can we talk about you're just spreading lies? She was 3 of 9. I had one in my video that just played.
I just looked at the box scores. I'm pretty sure she was.
I think you need to get your eyes checked.
Maybe I missed. I do need glasses.
Okay, so you just lose all credibility by saying that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't even choose the right Trojan of the week. Are you aware of that? London Jones, only 2 less points, better efficiency. She was actually hitting her threes.
Did she have the game-winning layup to beat the number 9 team in the country
play
on the road?
of the week. On the road is kind of questionable. You realize that, right?
On the road in Charlotte?
Charlotte and Raleigh aren't particularly close together. It's not like you're going down the street to. It's not like
North Carolina is nowhere close
It
to
is
LA.
not like you're going down the street. It's not like this upcoming game, South Carolina versus USC, where it's technically a neutral site game.
Oh, come on.
It's right down the road. Charlotte and North and
LA
Raleigh are not right down the road.
Close to Do I need to bring you a map here next time?
That's not the point. It's not an away game. It's completely different. Do you see those stands? It's not packed out like
the travel fatigue is still a thing.
It's not packed out like it is a major
Women's
game,
volleyball just went up to Washington, a team that's bad, as a losing record in the Big Ten, and Abigail Mullen had the same amount of kills as her teammate London Weejay.
You're also leaving out the digs, though. You're also leaving out that she was great on the
blocks and the steals for Jazzy.
She was yes, and she didn't do that well offensively, though. She did not have a good game offensively.
21 points is bad.
Can
you score 21 points in a game?
No, of course not. Neither could you. You couldn't have you couldn't have 15 kills in a game, though. That's the point.
Okay, but she had the same amount as her teammate. That it cancels out.
That doesn't make any sense because London only had 2 less points.
London and Abigail Mullen
on better
both
efficiency,
had 15 kills. So she's the co-leader on her team, not the leader.
That doesn't make any sense though, because on the dig side she did lead her team in digs in a double-double.
Jazzy Davidson led her team in blocks and steals. Like, what do I have to do to get this into your brain?
You're not doing it's efficiency. She was not the most efficient. She was costing her team points because of the shot chucking she was taking.
You're lying about stats.
I'm not lying about stats.
Yes, you are.
Maybe I accidentally misread it, but by the way, I don't think I did. And even then, London Jones was just better. She was more efficient. She was actually putting up points.
She didn't have the game-winning layup to beat the number 9 team in the country.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I think you need to get your eyes checked and your brain checked.
My brain. Oh.
Yes, I think you do. Sorry. That's enough arguing for now. But it's time to roll the dice and do something a little bit different. We got the wheel here. We'll talk about whatever it spins on. Terrence, you know what to do.
UCLA moving. I think they're going to move to SoFi Stadium, and that's shocking. I really don't think it's a good decision, though. They need that Rose Bowl. Yes, it's far away. So is SoFi Stadium, though. The Rose Bowl actually has some heart.
Well, for the first time today, I'm going to agree with you. SoFi Stadium is a beautiful venue, don't get me wrong, but it is soulless and corporate. Right? It is a big building that hosts 2 NFL teams. It's bland. The Rose Bowl has character. You can see the hills. You're right next to the golf course. You're in Pasadena. It's historic. I think the move sucks, but I think the perfect solution is to get UCLA their own stadium on campus, which isn't going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So we live in a fantasy world, and we're just going to have to see how that plays out at the home of the Rams and the Chargers. But coming up, we'll talk about a new format for the NBA All-Star Game. And we'll test our knowledge on both SC women's basketball teams with some trivia.
NBA All-Star Weekend is slated for February 13th right here in LA at the Intuit Dome. However, the team will be debuting a new format. Yesterday, the team announced that the rest of us will have been waiting for, the USA versus World competition. This is a significant change to the format that will feature 2 teams of USA players and 1 team of international players. Each team will consist of at least 8 players, and they'll play each other in a round-robin tournament where the best teams will go to the championship game. What's more, American players with ties to other countries could be on the international team. I'll open it up to you guys. What are your thoughts on this new format?
I mean, I think it's a good addition. We saw with the NHL last year. I mean, it really helped the ratings. And baseball, granted, it's not part of the MLB, but I mean, their World Tournament is always a classic. But I'm confused why there are 2 U.S. teams. I think the world is taking over basketball more than they ever have before. Wemby, Luka, Giannis, all those guys. The world is great. Don't know why you need 2 U.S. teams. Think it should have been just U.S. versus the world.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. When you look at the Olympics, USA as a full team, let alone with 2 separate teams, didn't win that easily. They ran into a lot of trouble. I would like to see kind of a little mini Olympics sort of thing. I don't know what you think about that, Nia, but I mean, we saw teams like France give USA real trouble.
Yeah, I think it could honestly be a really tough competition, and if the world wins in the All-Star Weekend, they might see some more openings for some more world teams in future All-Star Weekends. But how grateful are we to have the All-Star game in our own backyard? I cannot wait for February.
And now in festive spirit, ahead of this weekend, welcome to The Real SC Trivia. For the first question, which school was a university first?
I mean, here's the thing. That's a good one. I'm going to go with the University of Southern California. I'm going with the Trojans.
And Nia, what about yourself?
I'm going with the Gamecocks. I mean, I feel like the Old South, I don't know. I feel like they had a lot of things established before out west did.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Gamecocks too. Same reason, just historically established first. And the answer is, wow, the University of Southern California.
There we go. 1-0. Love to see it. All right, so now I'm taking the lead. Absolutely love to see it. 1-0. Maybe you guys will catch up in a bit. All right, let's move on to question 2 now. True or false? Both teams have had at least 1 undefeated season. Nia, I'll start with you.
Yes, they both have had 1. Yeah, I agree. True.
Yeah, I'll also go with true. South Carolina obviously has, and I think the real USC probably has as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with false. I mean, USC's prime was back in the 80s. I don't think they ever did it then. Let's see. And the answer was false. 2-0 now. The University of Southern California has not had an undefeated season. There we go. We are rolling right now.
Okay, well, my question is, which school had the first ever WNBA #1 pick? I'm going to go with USC Trojans. I'm not sure who it was, but I think it was the Trojans. They're a more historic program.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with USC. I think the obvious answer is South Carolina, but I think the producers who go to school at USC wouldn't have included it if USC wasn't the answer. If so, shame on them. But my pick, USC.
You know what? I really don't know what the answer is here, but because I want to go 3-0 and the rest of you to go 0-3, we're going the University of South Carolina Gamecocks. No,
boom,
there goes the streak.
loss.
USC's Tina Thompson was the first ever player drafted to the WNBA. First overall. I mean, that was some great trivia. I mean, what did we learn from that?
Yeah, well, that was the real SC Trivia. We hope you learned something new today. I'm Nia Satterfield-Brown.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Nolan Ezett.
And I'm Adam Ukazoglu. We'll see you next week.